Yo, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. This article comes from World of Real via Jordan Rumi. It reads, Ridley Scott says Gladiator 3 in the works. Gladiator 2 hasn't even been released yet, and apparently Ridley Scott already has plans to turn the franchise into a trilogy. An idea suddenly sparked in his head, and things seem to be in motion. In an exclusive via Premiere, Ridley Scott confirms he is working on Gladiator 3. The filmmaker links the ending of Gladiator 2 to the ending of The Godfather, with Paul Mescal as a Michael Corleone type of figure who gained power without having wanted it. This is a quote from Ridley Scott. No, seriously, lit the fuse. The ending of Gladiator 2 is reminiscent of The Godfather, with Michael Corleone ending up with a job he didn't want and wondering, what now? Father, what do I do? So the next movie will be about a man who doesn't want to be where he is, end quote. According to Scott, who turns 87 in November, the sequel would deal with Mescal's character and the power struggle of the political world in Rome. When contacted for comment, Mescal, who plays Lucius, reacted to the director's words. This is a quote from Mescal. Yes, really told me about it, but only yesterday, so I'm waiting to see what will happen, but I'm interested, of course, end quote. Scott will have to wait and see how Gladiator 2 does at the box office before fully committing to the third chapter. He also has other projects percolating in the works. His next film is definitely the Bee Gees biopic, set to shoot early next year. Gladiator 2 is set to arrive in theaters on November 22nd, 2024, with Mescal as the lead, and Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington, Joseph Quinn, and Connie Nielsen in supporting roles. So that basically sums up the rest of that article. Want to know what you guys think about that down in the comments. We have talked about Gladiator 2 recently. Ridley Scott claims it's his best film. We will have to see when that releases on November 22nd, which is going to be Thanksgiving Day weekend, I believe. So yeah, I think it's really interesting that Ridley Scott already has these plans in motion. Sounds like a lot of ideas, to be quite honest. Ridley Scott has done this before. We've seen him do this with Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and what was going to be Alien Awakening. Obviously, the film has to perform well. We've talked about the release date for this film. We've talked about the bloated budget for this film. Do I think this film is going to perform well from a monetary aspect? No, I don't. I think it will be seen as a decent film, but we will have to see. I'm going to go watch it. I'll have my review for it once I do see it, but I think from a financial standpoint, I don't think this film is going to do very well. It cost $300 million, and it is releasing on a weekend where a lot of people are not going to be going to the theaters. They want to hang out with their families. So Ridley Scott being happy about Gladiator 3 or having any type of ideas going forward with Gladiator 3, we'll have to see what happens after the release of Gladiator 2. More than likely, I don't think this is going to happen, only because, like I said, Gladiator 2 is not going to perform. And as we know, this is a business. Movies have to perform to get additional sequels. So with that being said, I want to know what you guys think about this idea. I did get some comments before in the last video. Some people are not really hot on the idea of Gladiator 2. And so a lot of what's going to happen regarding the creation and the ideas behind Gladiator 3 are going to heavily depend on the performance of Gladiator 2. Like I said, we will just have to see what happens. With that being said, that's all I got for this broadcast, guys. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, and as always, be safe.